Okay, so in this YouTube video, I know my room is like a mess, but I do that on purpose just to like, I don't know, to piss my mom off. Even my mom doesn't even live here anymore, but doesn't live like near me or whatever. But like I'm gonna talk about what's it called? Oh yeah, what my religion is. I don't have a religion actually. Yeah, so yeah, I don't really believe in any. Well, I have beliefs, but I don't have religion. So all I'm gonna talk about what I think about Jesus. So essentially, during the times when Jesus existed, there used to be people were essentially pretty much living like what we would now consider kind of like cavemen. Not cavemen, but their consciousness was very low. And so essentially what happened was there was this person who traveled all the way to India to India or to like the Eastern world, essentially was on the lookout for new information, was a lookout for new text or new something that's new, something that is like for new knowledge, whatever. So when he was on the lookout for all this new information, he found Buddhism. He actually went into India and he actually studied Buddhism and studied Eastern philosophy and stuff like that in India. So when he studied Eastern philosophy, he found about the Buddha and stuff like that, I think. And essentially he found out, he found out about love and stuff like that, and he created his own like philosophy or whatever based on what he was learning there. And so what happened is that he returned to Jewish land, or like I don't know where he lived, like Mesopotamia, or I forget. Israel was now known as Israel, and he returned with this information. And so with this information, when he came back, people looked at him like he was a god. Like he was literally like everything to them because of all this info that he had. And essentially people there were living like cavemen. Were living like were in caveman mentality. So essentially he was speaking about love. And he was preaching about love and stuff like that. And essentially when he was talking about love, the people that were pretty much kind of like living like cavemen had a really low consciousness or ability to comprehend the external world, essentially interpreted what he was trying to say. And they were interpreting what he was saying, and they interpreted what he was saying word for word. And essentially they created, but they would misinterpret what he said. So when he said one thing, they would see what he said and they would make a judgment about what he said, and the people that interpret what he said would think that what he said is something else. So out of what he said, they wrote a book, or they wrote text. And it was not only that this text was not accurate, it was passed down from generation to generation. So essentially it's lost in translation. It's so old. It's like it's basically it's devolved. It's not even like it's based off that history, whatever. It's not even accurate anymore. And essentially even the whole purpose of the teaching or what he was talking about is completely lost. So the people that interpreted his text didn't even know, misinterpreted what he was saying, essentially. And that philosophy, what he was talking about, is completely lost. It's lost. And so what happened is that people essentially, so this is one, how religion essentially spread, is that because of that. So because of this text, right? Christianity. And so now so many different people, so many different religious groups have so many different interpretations of what the truth was and what he was saying, that there's really no truth that people could agree on because everybody disagrees on what the truth is. And people misinterpret everything, or not in the know, or so essentially what's going on is that religion has become part of culture now. So, but when I think about religion is that essentially religion was used by authority figures like the priest as a way to control his citizens. So essentially those priests or these church leaders were creating ideations of good versus bad as a way to control their own citizens. So essentially, if you teach the citizen that this is good, then this is the way that we will control them, control what we will do. If we teach them that this is bad, we will make them do this instead. Or essentially, if they do that bad thing, they'll receive punishment. And so, therefore, the people that are good will have this rank, essentially. And so, that's how priests used to control their citizens through this religion. But priests, sometimes when I look at priests like church leaders or priests or like the Pope even, when I look at the modern day Pope, when I look at their energy, it's as if they're not even Christian. They don't even care about Christianity. When I look at them, they care about gaining power through Christianity, but they're not Christian. That's what I interpret when I actually look at the Pope himself. I don't have to listen to them, look at the picture. So it kind of like defeats the point in this essence. So essentially what was written in the Bible and what was interpreted lost through translation in the Bible is basically these ideations for good versus bad. And these ideations were used as a way to control people. So essentially people right now take what is said to be good versus what is said to be bad and use it as an actual reference for good versus bad. And they actually use it as a reference for what is moral, when essentially it was used as a control mechanism. So what happened is that people essentially for instance, like religion, like Mormonism and all these other religious groups essentially are pretty much, many people who go into religion are going into religion so that they can belong with the community. It has nothing to do with the text. And and they're looking for a place to belong. That's what they're looking for. So they're not looking for the actual information. So that's pretty much why it's so interesting to observe Christian psychology, because they're actually not in Christianity because of their religion. They want to belong to a group of people. So mostly, and they use religion as a way, as a kind of like a tool or a way, but they might not even actually believe in the religion itself. So essentially, I don't believe that what the Bible says is good versus bad is in actuality of what good and bad is. I think that what we see as moral is an evolution phase. So like evolutionary stage. So yes.